Sound of Metal is directed by Darius Marder, stars Riz Ahmed, Olivia Cook, Paul Rucky, Lauren Bacall, and a bunch of other actors, and it depicts a drummer who is really into, he's basically at like the top of his career, and he suddenly, without notice, just loses almost all of his hearing. And the movie is kind of centered around the fact that he is completely thrown into the deep end of a new situation, into basically like a new world, the world of the deaf. And you can see his extreme frustration, his see how he's quite depressed, and he just cannot seem to cope with his situation. And I'm pretty sure it is a film that probably a lot of hearing impaired or a lot of deaf people could relate to, that I guess of how traumatic that experience can be, because for a lot of people hearing loss can be very sudden and very rapid onset with not much warning. And hearing loss currently is also permanent, it's irreversible, so there's really nothing that you can do in the world that can bring your hearing back, which is very sad. And I hope that, I hope one day, in the not too distant future, that that will be a thing of the past, because what this film depicts is that hearing loss sucks, and it's his journey of acceptance and really coming to terms with basically seeing his life in like a new way, and trying to focus on the things he still can do, and kind of the people that he meets. But overall, it's a really good movie. Riz Ahmed plays a very realistic and grounded performance of a person who would just suddenly realizes that their hearing is going to shit, basically. And it really sold me, and it really made me feel for the character. But it's not just a fictional story, it's based off a real person called Derek Kainfrance out of a drama band called Jucifer, and it's basically, the movie is basically a mirror of what he went through when he lost his hearing during to excessive heavy drumming. And I could also relate to it too, because even though I'm not hearing impaired, or at least I don't think I am, I did have this very troubling experience a few years ago when I took a plane trip to Japan for a holiday, and I was sitting right next to the engine at that part of the plane for almost 8 hours. And when I got to Japan, I did notice that something was very off with my hearing. Like things didn't sound the same. Things sounded kind of weird and subdued. Like I no longer had access to my really high frequency hearing, and it was distressing, because I know many people in my life who have that high frequency, and once you don't have that, their voices sound very weird, very unfamiliar, very unusual. And also, to be honest, quite depressing as well. It's quite depressive to hear, because I really treasure the fact that I really like listening to high frequency people speaking. I feel like it's kind of what gives people, the kind of spark that makes you want to listen to them. I did go through several stages where I found people high pitched voices to be annoying. But after I had that experience, it was awful, and I really was very grateful, and I never felt that way again after I experienced that, because of just how freaked out I was by just the gravity of what I was experiencing. And even if it wasn't that bad, it was nothing I ever really I ever perceived before, and it was really, it was traumatic, but it was eye-opening as well to realise that just how grateful you have to be for hearing those frequencies of sound. But after that experience, I did I was no longer, let's say, annoyed by high frequency, high pitched noises. After that, made me a lot more appreciative of that I could hear sound like that in the first place, and I was really grateful that I don't have hearing loss, basically. But overall, it was it really was a fantastic movie. It was really one of those movies that it's really what movies are made for. Kind of just telling the story of a man's life and being able to see it from their perspective and be able to experience something that you might not have had any clue about of what it's actually like to suffer from something like this. And it's kind of the slow period of suffering to acceptance and being able to adapt and thrive despite something like that happening to you. And I think it's great. It's one of the best movies I've seen in quite a few years, and for all those reasons I would give it a perfect score, 10 out of 10. It's because it really was a movie that did impact me and really made me feel for this character, and that's basically what movies are about, I guess. So anyway, that's my review of Sound of Metal. You'll sort of maybe notice I'm wearing a shirt called Cinetorium. I have a friend called Jason Wingate who is starting a filmmaking company called Cinetorium, and he has a YouTube channel called the Cinetorium Brothers. So if you want to check that out, I'll link that, and I'll also maybe provide a link to his website for anybody who's curious about his films that are coming out recently. He is planning to release his first film next year, and I will link that in the description as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later.